Okay, good afternoon all, everyone as well. Just switch my speakers off. Sorry, I was just watching something. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. Okay, so same story overnight, not a lot of volume. Let's have a look. So we're just ranging at the moment, really. So there's no sort of clear direction, really. Obviously, we may had that little bit of a move up from yesterday, so we'll see how we get on today. So Armanas, how you doing? Karina, good morning to you. Happy Friday, chill, no stress. Yeah, easy said and done, isn't it? So I had an interesting stream call with RJ and a few others last night, which was really interesting, actually, just discussing the charts. I think they try to do them every day, so whether they do one Friday or not, but it's quite interesting to discuss it. The trouble is, when we have a chat with it, I'm talking, which is a bit easy for you guys, but then it's typing, so you don't quite get it. It's hard to sort of get it into words, whereas if you can have a little Zoom meeting, you can just sort of chat openly. So we covered a lot. Any trades that sort of didn't work. Now, obviously, we have all that information with Mac, but what we get from Matt really is limited. So with RJ and a few others, we were actually discussing, I think it was that trade, that little short-term congested second entry, which was at the low of that channel. I think it was the day before yesterday. It was really, really kind of a strong move down. But it's interesting to discuss it because it's surprising how we all look at the same chart, but we kind of see it slightly different, or we interpret it slightly different. So hopefully they do it again tonight. So let's see how we get on. But at the moment, we seem to be ranging between, there's a bit of support here, so hopefully we get two legs up, but we seem to be ranging between this bit of support here, up, down. So all my accounts are locked and loaded. Let me just check.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay.
Order cancelled.
Fingers crossed as well. You know, I have been and ahhing about possibly changing my profit target. I know RJ, Dan, Marco go for 1.5. I go for 3 points. Trouble is, I could afford to win 2 and lose 1 and kind of be no better or worse off. So I might have to crunch those numbers again, but I'm pretty sure I saw, if you remember, you guys remember Black Bay Trading, he actually did some maths on it and looked at the prices based on, or profits based on, I think it was a point and a half, 2 points and 3 points. And 3 points seemed to come out better. Now, what I will say is if you look at every single chart Matt marked last night, I think it was about 16 or 17, every single one of them went for more than 3 points. So for me, I think it's still a strong candidate to keep going for that. I do like that kind of 1-to-1 ratio. At the moment, the ATR is just under 3, so I like that 1-to-1 ratio. That one sort of winner cancels out a loss. So I think I just need to just trade a bit better, just wait for... Now, there is a little second entry short there. There is kind of 2 little moves up, so it may come back, but it's just a little move. So I think the conclusion we came to for a leg up really needs to be 3 bars. That trade I took the other day that didn't work. That one there. We discussed that trade. A few of us thought it was okay, but I think the conclusion was we get 3 green bars, then a break, and then 3 green bars, something like that. This type of picture, 3 green bars, pull back, 3 green bars, and then a drop. So that was one conclusion we came to. Also, if you get a quick move like that bar there, just before we get a move, and then a little bit of sideways, just take caution. So I came back to a white chart. Well, this is slightly off grey. The thing is, when I see Dan's chart, Marco's chart. What I'm trying to do is look at the same picture, not just the same picture, the same colour of the bars. So I don't know whether I see it as clearly when it's darker. There's a possible lower high there. I actually quite like that one.
Order
Depends
submitted.
how far it's going to go for. We've come off that top. Trouble is, we haven't got very far down. So are we going to have two legs down and push up? So I'm just going to leave this. Something about this. It is a lower high, but we've hardly got down. So I think it's a little bit risky, that. It has triggered. We didn't get down very far. I think it will probably get below there, but there's something here that's telling me just to be cautious. We've come off the tops, but we didn't even get down to that midline, and we're back up here again. So do I think this is going to go down? I'm thinking it's having two attempts to go lower. So my gut feeling is this is probably going to push up. So I'm going to leave that one. So I clearly made the right decision there. It ticked below now. It hasn't pushed up yet, but it's a tough one. There's a second entry long, so there's kind of like a failure there, but it's stacking up now. It's stacking up sideways here. Jay, how you doing? You took that for the short scalp. That one there, did you? Yeah, I think there's a good... Well, I'd have said that will come back to the EMA. So that lower high there would have triggered and stopped you out. So I made the right decision there. We bounced there. Sorry, we came off the top. We had a little leg up with the break, and there was a little second entry short off the top. So you'd expect that to get back to the EMA. There's what is there. So there's maybe a point and a half there. So I don't think that's a bad trade for a quick move. Yeah, I agree with that. My only issue I have about taking that trade there is we came down and we didn't even get down to the middle line before we pushed up again. So for me, this is losing a bit of downward momentum. So the picture I'm seeing now is a move up with a correction and a move up. So we got a move up with a little pullback and a move up. So that's what I'm seeing, which is why I decided to leave that. See, I've been looking at this scruffy trader stuff as well. And after my chat with a few of the lads, RJ and a few of the lads, I've decided to not do it. When something gets a bit tough, it's very easy to kind of look for something else. And I think I just need to do this better. I spent 4 years with Pats. There's no reason why I can't get better at it just by studying it a little bit more. So rather than putting my money and time into something else, I spent 4 years doing this. It's a shame, really. Not that I would stop, but sometimes if you've got your fingers in too many pies, it maybe get a bit confusing. We have a saying in the UK: jack of all trades, master of none. So there's no point in being okay at a bunch of different strategies. I think it's much better to concentrate and just be really proficient with that one. So we got two little legs up now. Is this a fail breakout? Yes, but my gut is telling me we are moving up. So whether there is a slight bullish imbalance there may be. It certainly was that latter part of the day. So my gut feeling is we're still maybe have a little bit more leaning towards the upside. So I don't want to trade that as a fail breakout. If we're bouncing off the same point, then I probably would. But the fact that we are making higher lows specifically, then I think that's a bit risky. Sometimes it does make a damn bit of difference. You get a lower high and the thing pushes down. It did a couple of days ago, but I have to pay attention to the fact that we do seem to be leaning towards the upside a tad. So So if you'd have taken that one, triggered you may have got a point or a point and a half at a squeeze, certainly a point. But for me, this has got an upwards feel to it. So we've had a break out of this possible channel, and we've attempted to get back in. Now you may move this up. See, I'm starting to think about getting rid of that. So I was just looking back on some of my older videos, just listening to how I'm discussing it and talking. And when I was making money the early part of this year, I seemed to be much stricter. I turned down lots more setups. And I think what I've probably done is I'm taking riskier setups, and I think that's why I'm taking more losses lately. So I'm just trying to be a little bit more selective in my trade choice. I'm not sure about that one. The reason I've put that there is because it does seem to be reacting around that midline. Let's have a look. Dan's got something similar. Okay. So Dan has just got that from there, which is kind of the same thing. So there definitely looks to be like something upwards. Similar we had. I mean, I drew my down here and brought the top up, but sometimes he does do that. But we've got two legs up and we seem to be skimming the top of this. So after that move up, we had the open and we had two attempts to push higher and a retest. We did seem to be holding there, and this thing does look like it's continuing up. We're not far away from all-time highs. What are we? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, less than 30 points. So it does. I have got that impression that we are slowly moving up towards that. All-time highs. External right. Locked. Okay, so all-time highs up here. So we're not a million miles away. Where are we? Yeah, about 30 points. So my gut is telling me there's probably going to be something wider. Someone else has got that. Does seem to be something wider, so I'm going to leave that like that just for now. Marco's took a trade. He took that short, the same one as you did, Jay. Oh no, did he? I think he lost it, did he? Where was he getting out? 83.75. Did it get back there? It may just have done. 83.75. Yeah, it did. Usually goes for 6 ticks, does Marco, so that would have worked for him, but not for me. So if he got in, say, a tick below 75. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. So 375, point and a half, the extra tick. So he comfortably did that. That wouldn't have worked for me. To be honest with you, all my intention would be for that to ride that back to the EMA, and it barely gives you a point. So you don't know it's going to push down lower. At the time, I had a little bit of a line up here that it may be kind of inching upwards, but I certainly wouldn't intend on trading it that way. But for me, there is a possibility when this gets to here that it moves up, and it did, which is part of the reason why I never took that. And if I was scalping a point, then I'd have certainly had a go at that. But which begs the question, I just can't bring myself to take a point. I think it's a waste of time. Well, not so much a waste of time. I've got to win 3 trades to have this. In fact, if I won 3 trades at a point each, or you won 3 trades at a point each, and I won 1 trade at 3 points, I'm actually better off than you because obviously the commissions. And now if we were averaging 3 or 4 trades a day, then you could go for a lower profit. But I'm lucky to find 3 good setups a week. So if I'm just taking $50, that's making me $150 a week. You're not really going to make any money as such. So just watch Mac's video of yesterday. Lance's trade was not mentioned, although there was a clear second entry. Yeah, I know Marco marked it. I can't remember whether he did it or not. I didn't notice. Was it that one? No, it was earlier on. I think it was that one. Yeah, it was. I think it was that one. He had a channel up with a break new high. Marco marked it. He had it. I'm pretty sure he did. Let me have a look. It is good to discuss this, I will say. So, we just have a look. Pretty sure Marco took it. Yeah, he did. So yeah, that was it there. That was the trade. Now he only goes for 6 ticks. I think it went for 2 points or 2 1/4. So we had a channel down there with a little micro up with a break new high, and then that drop. I can't remember whether he marked it or not. Maybe he didn't. It just seems the last 2 trades I'd have taken, if I'd have been scalping a 1.5, it would have worked. But I still can't bring myself to do it, really. I don't see a hell of a lot of setup, so I try and capitalise when I do see one. Hey, Ben, how you doing, mate? So it's a personal thing, really, isn't it? I try to capitalise as much as I can when I see a trade. Now, what I will say is all those trades Mac marked yesterday, which I believe there was 16 or 17 of them, everyone went for 3 points and over. So I still think it's a better number for me personally. You go for a 1.5, you go for 3 points. I'm doubling my profit every time I win a trade, so I can get away with a few more losses. But I think if you're trading in congestion, like that trade was a little bit yesterday, I don't see an issue with me accepting maybe a 1.5 or 2 points. But, for the most, if we're going long off here, which we did, but at the time, it's hard to know that we're definitely going up, then, good setups generally work comfortably for 3 points and some. So I'm just sticking to Pats, nothing else. And I'm just trying to do it a little bit better, and I am trying to study the charts a little bit more and figure out, just try and get better at it. I think I tend to forget sometimes if trading was easy, everyone would be doing it and making a fortune. Yeah, so you may argue there was a little second entry, but in all fairness, it is a little bit congested there. I don't think Dan took it. It's a little bit sideways, so, we've come off possibly the top of a range here. Now, I was aware that we do seem to be slowly moving up, but I've seen that before, and this thing comes tumbling down. So I left it there. And obviously I was aware that there was a possibility that it could move up, so another reason to leave it. I mean, I will say, whether it's just me or whether it's because I've learnt more over the last couple of years and there's more information, you know, sort of bouncing around my head. But trading does seem more difficult, whether it is, or whether it's just how I kind of perceive it. But there does seem to be less setups. But I suppose, you know, markets are forever developing, so maybe that's the case. I'm going to bring that up just a fraction. Reason being is because it's actually bouncing quite nice along that midline. And I can close this down a wee bit. Definitely less setups currently. Yeah, there seems to be. You know, the trouble is we know what we think, but do we really know? So, you know, I'm not ignorant or stuck up enough to think that I can't be wrong. I'm quite happy, you know, to listen to someone who knows more than me. I think if you think you know it all, you're never going to learn anything else. So I'm here specifically to have a better life, to earn money and to learn. So it doesn't matter to me who you are. If I think you're right, I'll listen to you. You know, a lot of people say they think there's a channel, and I'll try it. If I like it, I'll keep it. So I think it's always good to be humble and realise that there are more experienced people out. And I think when you meet these experienced people, you need to grab hold of them and learn from them, kind of suck as much. It's why I talk about Dan and Marco a lot, especially Dan, because I think he's particularly good. Now, I know a couple of people have said to me, I can't see him taking all those trades. Every time there's a trade, he wins it. But not only does he show the arrow, he actually shows you where it plots as well. So he shows you that he got into that trade. So I do believe Dan's particularly good at this style of trading. Now, he did tell me that he spent a lot of time studying charts. So I don't think it necessarily comes natural to everybody. But I think the reason he's particularly good at it is because he's put a lot of time and effort into studying charts. So did you watch it, Joe? He changed and have success, apparently. I don't know. Trader, isn't it Trader Joe or something? Have a look. I got him. Oh, I am trading. I watch little bits sometimes. If I'm not do something, I might watch his stream. What I do think he's particularly good at is trading. I think he's just like the rest of us, takes losses, but I think he's got some. I think he's got a solid head for. He's very good at accepting losses. Well, it seems that way. You don't know whether. I mean, he blocks his account, so you can't tell whether he's trading PAs or sim, but he does seem to handle the losses quite well. But someone said to me, until you see someone's accounts and you know they're trading and don't believe them, well, you can't, you know, you got to believe some people somewhere. But you never see. He's got it blocked off. So he's trading 3 contracts, I think, isn't he? What's he trading here? Yes. So I don't know. You block someone's account. You block your account. You don't know whether someone's trading a sim or I don't know. Hey Chris, how you doing, mate? Yeah, you too, mate. It's always nice to have a good Friday, isn't it? So he's got his chart up here, hasn't he? I have tried that. Well, I think I had that because it doesn't look too bad. So actually, I mentioned it a minute ago, it is sitting quite nice on that midline. So I don't think it's too bad. So yeah, let's have a look, see how everybody else is doing. So Alpine's in the green. He has lost a few accounts, but he's back in the green anyway. So he does bounce back quite well, that guy. When he has a loss, or losses, he gets hammered, but he does bounce back well. Tell you, I never watched trades by Matt. He trades very different than us, doesn't he? So I don't quite follow what he does. I don't think Nut is trading today, is he? I can't say. No, he's not trading today. I know he has a Discord. I think he charges as well quite a bit. I think you can pay £200 a month to be part of his course, which I think is quite pricey, to be honest with you. He's only just learnt like us from Mac. So to charge £200 a month when Mac charges half of that a year, it's not for me. I wouldn't pay. He's only kind of like us. The only thing I'd say he's got stronger than me is his ability to accept losses. Well, that's what it looks like anyway. I wouldn't say he's particularly any better trader. I think he just, he takes his losses just the same as me, I think. But so where's this all-time highs? We're getting closer, aren't we? We're about 16, 17 points away. Even in his free last year, he shows withdrawal. I've been in his Discord free last year. He shows withdrawals. I don't doubt he makes money. I thought he charged for it, didn't he? Doesn't he charge for something? Because I know a trader buddy of mine said he started charging. I can't remember what it was. Matt's strategy on the 5-minute testing wicks pretty solid in my humble opinion. I sometimes take them with micros here. Trouble is, there's so many strategies out there. It's hard to know. I mean, we kind of always sort of looking out for something which we think is a bit better. And I'm getting to the stage now, I don't necessarily convince there is anything better than... I don't think one necessarily is better than another. It's probably different. I think ultimately it's about finding a strategy that we know has an edge and just trying to get as good as we can about it. The more there's probably more. I used to think Pat's is quite simple because we use one indicator. That is it. The rest is just watching price. But the longer I've been doing it, it's not a simple strategy to learn, I don't think. Now there may be a bit discrepancy. I say it's not a simple strategy. Teaching someone what a second entry is and what a failure is and a high or low is relatively simple. But the skill is reading the direction of the market and applying it at the right time, at the correct context in the right direction. You wouldn't think it would be hard to get the direction right. You think it's easy if it's going up, but it's not always that. It's not as simple as it kind of seems. But I think to make money, regardless of what strategy you use, to make money consistently is the tough part. It's not a case of am I taking the right straight. It's obviously it's getting that balance of the mind right, so you're taking trades at the right time. You're keeping that element of risk under control, you're keeping that discipline high, that you're picking the right trades. The trouble is with trading, it's, I mean, you know, my sort of view on trading strategies is very limited. Most of my time's been sucked up trading this style. But my observation here is you've got to be super strict. It doesn't look like it would be difficult to make money in this business, but it's could have been further from the truth, really. Trouble is, this is nice and strong now, see, so you may think, I'll just buy here, but guaranteed, when you decide to buy, it's when you think the thing might have shot up 40 points, but the second you decide to buy, this thing seems to just know and come down, which is why you have to wait for a proper setup. It's rare you get lucky just buying into this, you know, into this chart. You'd have more chance in flipping a coin at a casino. It's weird, isn't it? The one time you're thinking you're seeing it going up and up and up and up and up, and you decide to jump in, and as soon as it happens, it's just uncanny. It's like somebody flicks a switch, the thing triggers you and decides to have a break. It's weird, isn't it? Make money. My cats are not negative anymore. I have to stop next make double. I use Renko. What I will say about Renko is I was watching a video last night. I think it was that, Roderick Caskill guy. And he uses them. Now, what I will say is they do seem to give me the impression that they clear up a lot of the mess. You've still got to take a trade at the right area, but half the battle with this is divulging what the bars are telling you. Whereas if you simplified it with Renko's, tell a lie, I don't want to seem like I know what I'm talking about here, but it does look like Renko bars simplify things. Now, whether that's the case, you know, I'm not qualified to say because I've never traded them. Karina is your man or your woman there. But they do seem like they do simplify things. If a strategy don't work for you, you change and stop wasting time and stress. Life is short. Yeah. Do you know what, Ben? I looked at it on and off for a couple of months. And I had a bit of success with it, but a couple of times, I think it's like most things I've done. I think after a while, you come to realise they don't necessarily give you any more than you had before, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I came to the conclusion in the end that it doesn't necessarily... I mean, you could try the range chart and find setups. You could try the CL chart and find setups. You know, you can pick up the NASDAQ for the day and find setups. I tried the 10, the 12 and the 15 bar. I thought 10 bar being, say, 10 ticks, which is very similar to where we are today. We're maybe 9 ticks. And at first glance, at first glance, it looks okay. But sometimes I got a bit unstuck. I talked to Dan about this, and he looked at it for a while, and same with Marco. It looks good initially, but then after you've been trading it a while, I think you come to the conclusion that it's not necessarily better than any other chart. So I kind of binned it in the end. One big negative I found was when it didn't show congestion. Yeah, Lance, you don't know what I mean. I trade. You don't know the strategy. No, absolutely, absolutely. But I saw a video about Renko once, and I think the one thing I remember he talked about was it does clear up a lot of the kind of mess, but Do you know what, Karina? I don't know why you don't make a video, pop it on YouTube and explain how they work and how you do it. I'd be interested in watching. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. So we got a little channel working up here with a break, 2 pushes to a new high. We're flattening off a bit now, so let's see if this comes down somewhere. So we're inching closer to that all-time highs. We are 16 points away, well, from current top. And all-time highs was it yesterday's highs? Yeah, it was. So we've got a pullback here. Okay, so little channel. Hey Sam, how you doing, buddy? You have to have a strategy that you can trade with a clear, free state of mind. God, I've been looking for one of those all my life, mate. Yeah. I mean, I think any strategy that you learn, you know, the longer you've been doing it, the naturally you will get better. You know, whatever business you're in, whether you're a carpenter or a plumber, if you do it day in and day out, you can't kind of but not improve really, or improve's a strong word, but you can't. It's hard not to get a better overall understanding of how prices work. So let's see what happens here. So we're definitely bullish at the moment anyway. So my guess is that we're quite likely working our way up to test yesterday's highs and all-time highs. So I'm looking for a couple of legs back. At the moment, we've got a little channel, so if we can get a break in a leg, fingers crossed. Zoom in here a bit. Let's just double check. We've got no news today, have we? I haven't got my news app open. I don't think we have. No, we haven't. Just wanted to check. So let's just open up an order, make sure everything
Order
is as it's
submitted.
supposed to be. Yep. New stop locked. I have my locked stop locked.
Order
So we've got a
cancelled.
channel with a little break there and a push down to a new low. So that's technically played out. So there is liquidity around here. That area in particular, between that and there. So I'm guessing I'd like at least to see it come down to this level. It may not. Okay. Tempting. We've got a little kind of double bottom there, but I'm still sitting tight here. There is a bit of liquidity. May just, it's hard to say really. It's not. There is a little liquidity to the left there, so it may just clear any of this up. Or it may just push up. It's hard to say. We got a little channel with a break and a new low, so that's played out. Looks to me on my other chart looks even clearer. Little channel with a break. So there's been two little bounces, so it may go up, but I don't know. There's just something about this that's just telling me to be careful. For 3, you're done, are you, mate? Good on you. Just not sure about this at the moment. We didn't quite get to the bottom here, and there is some liquidity, so higher low I think would be safer for me. How far did it go? So depending on where you got in, you certainly got 0.75. Excuse me. trade on a sim. Trouble is, because I trade full time, I got to make money. And I haven't made money for the last month and a half, so I'm digging into some of the profits I made. So it's hard to just trade one of my accounts like that. Do you know what I mean? What I'm trying to do is study my charts later on. And as I say, I do this Zoom meet now where we can discuss them as well. So I'm just trying to improve that way. So there is a higher low here. It's a tough one here. Something about this I'm not sure about. We didn't quite get down to this. That's how I'm seeing it anyway. So what you don't want to see in a strong bar like that is for it to do that and start to come back. It may not make a difference, but something about this is just not rattling my boat. So I'm staying out of this. Yeah, good job as well, because you'd have got, well, actually it hasn't broke. It will do though, I'm pretty sure of it. It's gonna trap traders, that for sure. I'll be amazed if it doesn't break below. Sometimes it does all though, but as we didn't quite get to the bottom of this channel, that's why I left that. I don't know if anybody took that. If it's strong enough, sometimes it does all, but it's just got caution written all over that for me. There is a possible failure there, though. Second entry short, which is triggered, but same again, we're closed short of that EMA, so you can't take this. And not only that, it's stacking up now, so it's a flip of a coin here. Is it going to go up and stop that out, or is it going to trigger and come down? So there's nothing you can really do here. It's starting to stack up now, so it's having that trigger and sitting through all that that's the nightmare. Trouble is, when you sit through all that and it doesn't stop you out and moves up, the natural instinct is to get out. You count your lucky stars and get out. The trouble is, it's stacking up now. You've got bears trapped there. You've got a bull there, possibly bulls there. So my guess is, because we didn't get close to this, quite close, my guess is it's probably going to flush down because you're bound to have stops here. But if you've got strong buyers here, that may hold price from coming down enough. But I certainly wouldn't want to get into a trade in either of these just at the moment. Doesn't mean it won't work, but this is just it's coin tossing area. It could do anything. It could go up or down. I mean, my gut instinct is it's going to stop that out. Well, that and that. But you know, we may get a failed breakout, come down here, take out a bunch of stops and get a failed breakout, but sometimes it holds. If there's enough buyers there, it may prop it up. Oh, excuse me. I think sometimes watching trades is hard going. I think what we should do is just switch the monitor off just for 10 minutes and leave it. Trouble is, not that easy when you're trading multiple accounts, because sometimes you have to double check everything's closed. Someone said, would they be considering a failed second entry short? Dan said if it was off the key entry point, it's not though. It's kind of floating right in the middle of this. This could shoot up or it could shoot down. My guess is with this momentum up, there's probably going to be more buyers there, and my instinct is this is going to push down and clear these out where they are, and it has. So if there's a bullish bar here, you may trade that as a breakout. You could argue 1, 2, 3 triple test, but tough one, isn't it? Channel break, new low. 1, 2, 3. If we get a triple test here, it might not be too bad, but you just don't know whether this is where we're going to have a break. But we have come off the top, so It may hold. So I'm going to get a buy order
Order
ready
submitted.
here. Trouble is the damn thing's already. Trouble is there's no room to the top. But if that pushes up, my guess is it's going to push up strong, but trouble is trading it as a failed breakout is one thing. Trading it as a big strong bullish bar, which is over 3/4 of the way to the top, yeah, there's nothing you can do with that now.
Order
Anyway,
cancelled.
if this dropped down there, cleaned this out, and then pushed up really strong and sat on that line, then I would consider taking that, because you could argue it's a second entry long, but you know what I mean. Now, is this going to push up? I like where it's sitting, but it pushed up and then just lost a bit of momentum. Okay, we kind of knew there was a good chance. It is holding there, but that bar is just poor. It's actually closed more or less right in the middle of that bar, so what can you do? So there's always the argument as well that we've got a channel down and we've had 1-2 attempts to push high, and this may come down. I don't think it will. Marco just mentioned on the wider channel there's a second entry short there. Trouble is the bias is up, so I wouldn't consider taking that. But I mean, you may struggle to get a 1.5 out of that depending on what you got, and usually you got to push down to 175, so it may not even work for a 1.5. But what I'm trying to focus on doing is keeping my charts tight like that. That I can tell you without a certainty of a doubt, or without a shadow of a doubt, we're in a channel. Then we have a break and a new low. That is a little bit less convincing. It may be, but it looks like more 2 legs down and 2 smaller channels rather than a larger one. So I'm trying to keep these things tight. You took it on the include clean P over there, yeah. They do work well together, actually, don't they? Sometimes they're more or less identical. Unfortunately, it's not really a huge amount we can do here. So we've got this move up, haven't we? So I would expect some kind of correction. You may argue that that is yeah, we may end up having something like that. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick break for a couple of minutes, make myself a cup of tea. I'm getting a bit dry. Did anybody hear me then? I think I switched off. So sit tight, I'll be a couple of minutes. I'm just going to take a quick few minute break and make a cup of tea. I'll be back. Up in a minute. It's a shame that wasn't a better bar, because I'd kind of expect it to move up if it was, but you know. Yeah, you too, Chris. You take it easy, pal. I'm just going to keep that tight initially because we've had a channel with a break 2 pushes to a new high. So I don't want to assume this is going to continue on up. We have bounced off that midline. So okay. Max just put his chart up, so he's got exactly the same as, not quite me. His goes up there like that, so very similar. Same sort of thing anyway, but just a little bit. So there's Dan's. Basically, he's looking at, oh, he's got an uptrend from here to the top, touching there and there. We kind of knew it was more or less the same. Is there a larger channel down there? Possibly. I think it's probably safer to assume that fits here. So we get a little break in new low. It's hard to say. We're just... now, I'd like to think that this is more like that. I actually prefer that like that than Max got it. Marco's got it. Sorry, Dan's got it that way. So we got a touch, a touch, a touch, a touch. So I actually prefer that. I like the way it bounces there and there and there off that midline. And you can see it drops below it, comes up to it, kisses it twice and drops down. It does the same there. So my gut feeling is that's more like. But if we've come up the bottom and had two legs and only broke these highs, we're losing a bit of momentum. So I think there's a possibility we get a break. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if we do a little bit of side skipping for a while. It's always a possibility. So channel with a break. I just don't like what's happening. We do seem to losing a bit of momentum here, so we may get a couple of legs or something. It's hard to say really, and that would give us kind of a little bit of sideways stuff. Okay, channel break. 2 pushes to a new low. Now we may be out this channel, we're not. Max got his more like that. Max got his there, in which case we are close to that. I'm not too sure what I prefer. Both have their merits, but from here to that next swing, 2 touches there and here, I actually slightly prefer that, I think. touched a couple of times there, touched there. It's hard to say, really. You got to kind of, it's kind of like a work in progress. We've got a channel here. See if we get any type of support down here somewhere. We've got this thing there. We may get a little bounce across there. There's a little bit of, we pushed up a few times before we dropped a little bit. So, but then you need to look for something like a higher low, really, to give you that momentum. The trouble is, we've been up to the top here. We've been up to the top. This push, we only got sort of maybe 50%, just under 50% into that second tier channel before it's come back relatively strong. So it always concerns me whether we get a break. Sometimes if you get in a little bit earlier, my experience is if you get in with the impatient few getting long gear, often it'll trigger you, clear some stops out and then come down for a second leg. Sometimes it doesn't, but that's how I feel about situations like this. When I've got in early thinking we've got to go long now because we've had a break, it's triggered me, stopped me out, had a better pullback and then moved up. So sometimes the answer of the day for me is just that little bit more patience. So this is kind of where I was hoping to get down to. So there may be a bit of support across there. You can see it there a little bit. So this is probably an area where we may bounce from, but as I say, we didn't get nowhere near the top of that. So you just don't know whether at this time we get a break, and it may start to get a little bit sideways, but I don't know. Sometimes it'll just take off. Trouble is, some traders might just buy here, and that's all good and well. If you decide to just jump in there at the key entry point with a buy, because you may be able to afford to put your stop down here, and then you profit way up here. So, the trouble is, because we trade in such a small area, it's very easy to get triggered, stopped out, only to go in the... it's very rare I get taken out in a trade and it doesn't go in the same direction. I just either got in early or got into a little bit of congestion. So the simple answer is just to sit back with that little bit more patience and just kind of let it show you where it wants to go, as opposed to me assuming and just getting a little bit too premature. So that would be 2 legs down, which would get us down here. So this may come down. We may have a bit of a break here, and it may clear out some liquidity there. And I'm guessing that would be an area of interest for me. Yeah, there is liquidity there, isn't there? See, so hitting this with an extra tick or so would kind of clear. There is orders on Bookmap, I'm looking, sat at 400, which is literally just below there. Oh, in fact, it's right at that. So if you're going to buy this market, kind of this would be the area to buy it, wouldn't it? Whether it gets to there or not is another matter. In fact, it starts at 125. So as soon as we get below here, there starts to become buy orders in there with a little bit more down here. So I'm assuming traders are assuming this is kind of 2 legs back, and we are maybe continuing on. It does look like some form of a correction. I don't like the fact that that other move it's got a little bit higher. I'd have preferred that type of thing, but nonetheless, I still think this. I think it's valid. So when it's valid like that, you expect a new high. So I think really you need to wait till it clears some of this. Depends how you've got this. You could kind of micro adjust this and get that to fit, but I think that's a bit premature. I mean, you could do it. It wouldn't look terrible, but sometimes I think you're best off leaving it how you add it, and rather than kind of manipulating your chart to make it fit. That's telling us it may be breaking, so dragging it in and going, let's pretend it's not happening, I think sometimes a mistake. So and if you do that, you may be inclined to think, well, there's two nice legs there, let's go long in. What happens? It triggers you, it starts to move down. So okay, so if you got in there, trigger just stopped you out. I'd like it just to break below here. I mean, that would be a great bounce point there, really. If you did want to buy this, the ideal place to buy it would be as low as you can get. But as I say, the orders start from 1.25, which are now, there are buy orders coming in now. So whether they'll make it much stronger. But if this is still going to retest the top, I can't see it coming much lower than there. It's very tempting, that is. There's still a lot of orders at 400 though, so it may trigger you, come down and stop you out. So I'm just leaving this alone. Might not be terrible, but there's just something about this. Just doesn't excite me. Although we have had two legs, with the measured moves played out and we are sat there, but I just, sometimes a small break like that and then an immediate move up, I just don't like that. I'd like to see it just clear this bottom. As I say, there's buy orders sat there at 400 and a little bit lower, so there's always a possibility this isn't a bigger channel up. There's smaller individual ones as well, so we're just assuming this is a definite channel. So your natural instinct is to think long. Bull bar there, below here, triggered, stopped out. Bull bar there, below here, triggered. Where's it going? If we get a higher low there, then I think there's a good chance at least getting to that AMA, but I'm sitting tight here. Okay, so that's had a quick flush down now and cleared out any bit of liquidity there. That's where I wanted it to break below. It didn't get below there. It may come down a bit. It's hard to say really, but that's where I'd have preferred it to get to. But it did hit those orders. But there are orders slowly coming down. So who knows? This thing could continue to come down. There may not be a bigger channel there. It's hard to say. Okay, folks, I'm done for the day, I think. I'm going to go and have a bit something to eat. I might come back for an hour later. So I'll leave you guys to it anyway. So have a great day. Have a super weekend. Stay safe. And we'll catch up on Monday. Bye for now.